Before I start, I have a few questions for the room. Hello, everyone on Zoom. Has anyone in this room ever had two different cars towed in 1 week?
No.
Okay, I think I'm just lucky. Happy Friday the 13th.
My goodness.
I don't think I was ever a superstitious person before this class. So I've been converted. But on the screen, you will be able to see this cute little creamsicle-like structure. The name of my project is Connect the Flow, and this is the first, this little box here is the first in a series of a project I'm calling Operation Biodrop. Second question, how is a forest like a fridge? And just ponder that. You don't have to answer that. There's a warning here. I like to ask a lot of questions that don't have answers. And you'd think that'd be good for coding, but I still have no answers. And everybody in the class knows that we asked a lot of questions and we got the answer that we have to find the answer ourselves. So that was a lot of, coding and me will be parallel friends maybe. So I am an artist, I am an illustrator, I am an educator, and I have a lot of weaving motifs in my artwork. And I'm very good at making things more complicated, not at simplification. But one thing I do aim to do is engage, educate, and endear people. Little cute faces are one good way to motivate me, as we know because of the ducks. And one project that I really am passionate about is trying to find forests, make forests. And this is something I'm going to be working on the next few years. And this is kind of my first prototype from 2023. These are some go back. These are some inspirational water fountains, drinking fountains. And as we heard from Jacob, trash cans are important in a smart city, but we also have to think about people's basic needs like water and staying hydrated. I would like to add that the PDF from the rail trail was a very big inspiration for me. I was interested in these medicinal plants that were talked about, and that is a feature of my project. I would like to collect seeds and distribute seeds and hopefully educate people about them as well. So these are a few examples of how many sketches I did. These are not all of them. In my video, you will see a lot more, but it was a long process, and these are the technical ones. I have never coded before, so this was a new experience for me. I'm still learning. I think the hardware was one of the more interesting parts of this. We used our Photon 2s all the time. That was easy to remember. This ultrasonic sensor gave me a headache. The OLED screen still gives me a headache, even though it's actually not difficult, but I used a relay motor in my project. This was something that was used in the second midterm, but I unfortunately was absent for that, and you may hear why later. I also used a piezo pressure sensor, which worked initially and then stopped. We all know our pixel strip. This is very important to us, especially the artists. And the stepper motor also did not really get used as much as I had hoped. So there are some components on this board that I did not get around to using, but maybe in the future. So in my video, you will see some examples of assembly, starting at cardboard, moving to 3D printing. And you can see the cereal box, the laser cut cardboard, and then finally some wood, which I was helped by people at Fuse. I will show you some connectivity in the video as well. People, yes, numbers, not so much. I do not have a good grasp of that connectivity, unfortunately, but I'm trying. So I'm going to show you this video right now. First, you will see some of the motivation, and then you will see how I put the project together, and please enjoy.
Connect the Flow. Operation Biodrop is a combination drinking fountain or water bottle refill station and a vending machine that drops seeds or educational materials. It is part of a larger series of art pieces that began in 2023. The parent series, Connect the Flow, focused on mind-body connection. For this project, I wanted to create a representation of the digestive system, specifically surrounding the role of the gallbladder and the importance of a diverse gut microbiome. This teardrop shape, which also looks like an onion or a seed or various other possibilities, is a prominent feature of my artwork. I began to make this connection in 2019 after landing in the emergency room with a kidney stone. Because of that, I wanted to create an art piece that functionally and educationally promotes hydration and biodiversity. This was made even more meaningful to me after I ended up in the emergency room again during the second week of November. For the components, I used a particle photon tube, an OLED screen, an ultrasonic distance sensor, relay, water pump, neopixel strip, piezo pressure sensor, and a stepper motor. The 3D printed parts include our Archimedean screw, laser cut components, and the wood saw, thank you, C, and a lot of wood. The functionality and the code. This device has two major functions. In this case, it is a drinking fountain for bees. The small amount of water gathered will be poured into a shallow dish on top of the device, and the seeds may be planted in provided smart planters. I plan to design those, or taken home to be planted. The OLED screen prompts passersby to get water. Do you want to bathe a bee? When the cup is inserted, the ultrasonic sensor is triggered. A relay attached to the water pump is triggered and the water is dispensed. When the cup is moved out of range, the water stops. At the same time the relay is triggered, data is sent to a feed that tracks the number of interactions. In the future, I will be adding a location tracker as well. After the relay stops, the OLED thanks the visitor and prompts them to touch the face of the panel, under which a piezo pressure sensor is placed. The sensor is programmed using the High Striker carnival game concept. The strength of the pressure determines how far the pixels move. There are 60 pixels on the strip. The OLED will message the user at each try. The goal is to reach the end pixel, which is indicated in white. The stepper motor is triggered at this point, turning a wire coil.
Oh, typo. Sorry. It was late early.
Oh no.
Uh-oh. My audio died. So these are some of my measurements, and unfortunately, measuring twice is not enough. Yes, I found that several times. Laser. Also, I found that my poor photon 2 died.
I plan to make a series of boxes that have isolated functions. So the first one would be the fountain, the next is a seed vending machine, and maybe the third would have an educational zine. But the seed has already been planted. Operation Biodrop is on its way.
Okay, so yes, sorry about those video glitches. It was a little bit early. And so I intend to create a better product later on by adding some things like power saving and more sensors to tell me when the water is running out or how many seed packets have been dropped. And you may have missed it because the sound cut off, but I plan to make a series of these. And instead of having two things like a vending machine and water dispenser, I will have one that is the water dispenser, one that is the seed dispenser, and one that maybe has some kind of zine or other material that is related. And the idea is that people can walk around and encounter these little fridges. They're kind of like a little fridge. And if you found a fridge in an unfamiliar forest, would you open it? I don't know if I would, but I'm hoping that people will. And I think part of the IoT, this is something I wanted to create before this class. So I'm hoping that I can use what I've learned to track the things that I create and put them around the city, partnering with businesses and creating scavenger hunts where people can follow a path and follow a story, follow a character, and find forests and find fridges in the forest. And I hope I can create this in a large scale someday soon. But my name is Lisa Casaus. Thank you. And